July the 22nd, 2026. Guys, a lot of you watched what we were looking at today through C-SPAN and some of the other links talking about the funding bill. And then we had Jack Smith on the other C-SPAN channel there. We were catching everything live, bouncing back and forth. But on the House bill, excuse me, where they were January the 22nd, 2026. Guys, you're looking at an ex post from Fox. We watched a lot of this today on C-SPAN through our live streams. We watched the House bill to where they were attempting to fund the DHS and ICE and all that, and it passed, barely, but it passed. And we were watching the fiasco with Jack Smith, and he committed perjury several times in that, if you paid attention to what the Republican people that were grilling him, the questions they were asking him, were throwing him straight into a perjury trap. He knew it, and that's why he looked so disgusted, or looked so, not disgusted, but desperately scared, and that is why the Democrats kept interrupting when the Republicans were driving it home some of the shenanigans he had pulled. Well, Trump called in today and saying the same thing. He said this guy committed perjury all over the place. We're going to look at that tweet also. But this is important for a couple of reasons. We got the funding we needed for the Department of Homeland Security, whether you agree or not, and for ICE. And they got it separate away from some of the other spending bills, so it's not such an omnibus. So I'm glad that happened. But the way the votes went down, it almost didn't happen. But what would have happened, if they would have blocked it, they would have found another way to get the funding, I think. Anyway, it says that just in, the House lawmakers pass a bill 220 to 207 to fund the Department of Homeland Security, overcoming overwhelming opposition from the Democrats. And they were thinking about this. Remember, they had to interrupt the Jack Smith trial to go over and vote. We watched that, and we were switching back and forth. That was the panic. But what happened? 7 Democrats backed the measure. And what's interesting to me is 4 Hispanic Democrats, backed the Republicans. And they talk about they're mad about the border. But again, if you read through this, you've got ones that voted with the Republicans: Marie Gluesenkamp Perez, Laurie Gillian, Don Davis, Jared Golden, Henry Cellular. Now you remember who he was. He had been indicted by the Democrats for money laundering. Trump pardoned him. Now, was Trump playing that far ahead in the game? I don't know, but look at the last 2 names, Tom Suozzi and Vincent Gonzalez. So you've got what appears to be half of this Democratic section here to be Hispanic. And when you talk about Department of Homeland Security, and ICE, what are we talking about? Border control. And so regardless of the rhetoric of the Democrats, this is telling the story. Now, if we look at the numbers, we had 1 rhino involved, and he was going to throw the whole deal. But these people stepped up right here, and God bless them, because the Democrats were panicked to fund ICE any further. But 1 Republican, Thomas Massie, voted against it. So let's go back up here to the numbers. The bill passed 220 to 207. So you take these 7 right here, added over here, it would have been 214, and this would have been 213. And Massie would have took it over the top, right? To where the Democrats had it. He still tried, but at least these folks had some sense. And again, Henry Cellular, thank you. And I just wonder, was Trump thinking this far ahead on some of these upcoming votes? Even though he was indicted, he was still a representative. Now, I think Trump was on the airplane some today, but he called in after this hearing with Jack Smith that we watched. He says Jack Smith committed perjury and should be prosecuted after tense congressional testimony. Every one of the Republicans nailed him. And one of the ones that we missed in the live stream was while we were over watching the budget bill for a second, and these guys were on recess, and they came back just a little earlier, but he tore the hide off of Jack Smith, and Trump is going along with it. He's saying, get him. And so a lot of people saying in the comments, even on the live stream today, were saying, well, why are you watching this? It's a waste of time. It used to be. And I was one of the first ones to call out the Congress and the Senate and the folks there, the bunch of barking dogs with no teeth. But I think Trump's had enough. And I don't know how much longer that he'll have certain people in his cabinet or not, but people are going to start going down. I just got a feeling that that's going to happen because he realizes, and remember, he's got kids and grandkids. He realizes that no one will survive if we go back to the Democratic regime running this country. And they're finding out so much, guys, about Mexico has got billions of dollars infiltrated into the U.S. to control the elections. We didn't know that. A lot of other things are coming out. Now, this is a 6-minute video, and the section that I mentioned that we had missed because of going back and forth between the two different feeds there was Representative Darrell Issa. He lights up Jack Smith for targeting political enemies. And it was where Jamie Raskin, he broke in several times. But I haven't looked at all of this 6 minutes. I read a little bit about it. Let's watch it together. But it was pretty classic from what I was reading. And I hate we missed it, but that happens sometimes. So I'm going to back out of here for a moment, and let's check this out.
Black gentleman from California is recognized.
Mr. Smith, do you see criminals to my left? You don't see any. Do you see people who are committing crimes because they continue to believe things that just aren't true? That's paraphrasing Ronald Reagan, that liberals aren't stupid, they just know things that don't happen to be true. If the president believed that he was cheated in an election, that there was fraud, or in some other way a number of items led to his defeat, when in fact he should have won according to the Constitution, does that make him a criminal?
Sir,
No, that's a yes or no, please, Mr. Smith. These people here are continuing to grapple constantly with things that aren't true, like socialism works, or that somehow everything the Republicans do is evil and everything they do is right. They've never reached a conclusion in a typical partisan case in which we're not evil because we think something different and we're not wrong. You understand the Constitution. Do you understand the Bill of Rights, that someone has the absolute right to believe something, whether it's true or not, and to advocate for something, whether it's true or not? Do you understand that in addition to your oath to the Constitution, that's one of the things the First Amendment allows for, isn't it?
yes, sir.
Okay, so if you know that people have a right to opine, lobby for, assert, do everything they can legally to ask for people to make different decisions, then why is it you saw criminal conduct on behalf of a president who believed he didn't win? Chairman Jordan and myself have something in common, along with a number of others here. We saw wrongdoing, and on January 6th, we voted not to confirm 2 states because they had violated the U.S. Constitution in how they selected who got ballots. And yet, you're going to come here and say, oh, I just followed the law. When you went after these people and you said, well, technically I can do that, you didn't see any selective nature or any separation of powers under the Constitution to spying on the activities and the conversations of the Speaker of the House? To what end would conversations between the Speaker of the U.S. House, third or second in line to be the President, and the President, in what basis would it be any of your business other than you believe that there was a conspiracy without conspiracy as a basic premise. You, like the president's men for Richard Nixon, went after your political enemies. Maybe they're not your political enemies, but they sure as hell were Joe Biden's political enemies, weren't they? They were Harris's political enemies. They were the enemies of the president, and you were their arm, weren't you?
No.
No. Oh, great. So you spied on the Speaker of the House and these other senators and so on, and informed no one, and in fact put in a gag order so they couldn't discover it. If they were not subjects of a conspiracy investigation, why did Congress, a separate branch that you, under the Constitution, have to respect, why is it that no one should be informed, including the judges? As you went in to spy on these people, did you mention that you were spying on seeking records so you could find out about when conversations occurred between the U.S. Speaker of the House and the president? Did you inform the judge, or did you hold that back?
My office didn't spy on anyone.
Wait a second. The question I asked you, Mr. Smith, was pretty straightforward. Did you withhold that information from an Article III judge in the process of taking the records of the Speaker of the House?
We complied with Department.
Did you hold back
Mr.
that
Chairman, would you
information?
please instruct the gentleman to allow the witness to answer the questions?
It's not your time. I'd like my time back.
Mr. Chairman,
again,
you have
please.
repeatedly done that in the past. The witness has the right to answer the question.
And there'll be due time to answer the question. Would you please put my time back and let me finish this? Mr. Smith, I asked you a question and you were not responsive to it, and I want you to be responsive to it. Did you, whether you think it was legal or not, whether you think it was right or not, did you withhold the name of Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House, when you were seeking records on Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker of the House, or Jim Jordan, the chairman of this committee?
At the time of the gentleman is.
No,
is-
please
you
give
got a
me
few
back
more
the
seconds.
time that was
I-
taken away.
Time has expired, but we're going to let the witness answer your question because it's an important question. The witness can respond.
We did not provide that information to the judge when we requested a non-disclosure order, consistent with the law and consistent with the.
Mr. Chairman, the amazing thing here today is that we have an admission that an
Mr.
Article
Chairman,
I...
the gentleman's time has
come on.
expired by now 34 seconds.
It gets more than 5 minutes.
How many
'cause it's a
times you
good
going to interrupt
question?
me?
The time belongs to the gentleman from California,
I will
but
be,
it has expired.
I will be brief in my address to the chairman. We have the evidence that an Article I representative on behalf of the president withheld
order,
from
Mr.
Article
Chairman.
III.
Mr. Chairman, our witness
That
granted the
information.
same leniency
And
of
with
this.
that, I yield back in
yield back.
disgust of this witness.
Sticking